Okay, so our lesson is about trigonometric substitutions. Some integrations may be simplified with the following substitution. If an integrand contains square root of a squared minus x squared, we can substitute it with x is equal to a sine z. And then if integrand contains square root of a squared plus x squared, we can substitute it to x is equal to a tan z. And then if an integrand contains x square root of x squared minus a squared, we can substitute it to x is equal to a secant z. More generally, an integrand that contains of the forms a squared minus b squared x squared, square root of a squared plus b squared x squared, or square root of b squared x squared minus a squared, but no other irrational factor may be transformed into another involving trigonometric functions of a new variable as follows. So, what is the difference between this one, this, and eto? So, merong b. B is what? B is a constant before the variable x. So, for square root of a squared minus b squared x squared, we can use x is equal to a over b sine z. So, dito is x is equal to a sine z lang. So, pag merong variable b, constant b before the variable x, magiging a over b siya. Tapos dito naman, a over b din and a over b. To obtain a is square root of 1 minus sine squared z, which is equal to a cosine z, and square root of 1 plus tan squared z, which is also equal to secant z, and square root of secant squared z minus 1 is equal to a tan z. So, in each case, integration yields an expression in the variable z. So, how does that happen? So, we're going to explain it later on examples. So, the corresponding expression in the original variable may be obtained by the use as shown in the solved problems that follow. So, going to erase my previous solution. Okay, we're going to erase this one. Erase na lang natin na lahat, diba? Okay, so, our first problem. So, what is our first problem? Naburo ko na siya, so I can see it now. First problem, integral of t over x, x squared over 4 plus x squared. Paano nangyaring trigonometric substitution? Yung trigonometric substitution kasi, trina-transform natin yung mga variables sa right triangle with z as an angle. So, x squared, square root of 4 plus x squared. Ang sabi sa substitution ay 4 plus x squared. So, ito yun. It is number 2. Square root of a squared plus x squared. So, kapag daw square root of a squared plus x squared, x is equal to a tan z. So, nasa form na square root of a squared plus x squared. Tapos, x is equal to a tan z. So, paano yun? So, if this is z, tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. So, this is x, ang opposite, and this is our adjacent. And our hypotenuse becomes x squared plus a squared. So, dito, ang hypotenuse natin is 4 plus x squared, meaning our a is the square root of 4, which is what? A is the square root of 4, which is 2. That's why we're going to write in 2. So, x is equal to 2 tan z. And then, since we're going to transform it, we're going to get dx. And dx is 2 secant squared z dz. So, since gagawin natin yan, kunin natin ang secant z. Secant is the opposite of cosine. So, if cosine is, papalitan ko yung sulat ko dito ng 2 kasi magmumukha siyang z. Nakakalito siya later. So, 2. This one is z. So, it is hypotenuse over adjacent. So, hypotenuse 4 plus x squared over adjacent, that is 2. And 2 second z is equal to square root of 4 plus x squared. So, we are going to substitute it. Ang dx ay 2 second squared z dz over x. What is x? 2 tan z squared times square root of 4 plus x squared, that is secant 2 secant z. So, since may 2 dito, may 2 dyan, may secant dyan, tatanggalin natin yung square. So, magiging secant z dz over 2 tan squared z is 4 tan squared z, which is also equal to 1/4 integral of opposite of secant is cosine z dz, and then sine squared z over cosine squared z. And then, kakancel ito, and then yan, ang mangyayari, tataas natin yung cosine z, pababa natin yung sine squared z dz. And we can write that as 1/4 sine raised to negative 2z cosine z dz. And by substitution, can make u as sine z and du as cosine z dz para 1/4 u raised to negative 2 du, that is equal to 1/4 negative 1 kasi okay, so kung manilagay yung negative, so u negative 2 plus 1, negative 1 over negative 1 plus c, which is equal to 1/4 sine z raised to negative 1 negative plus c, that is 1/4 sine z plus z. So, yan na ba yung class? So, have to remember that this one is in the form of variable x. So, we are going to transform ulit ito sa variable x. So, 1/4. Ang sine z ay, ano ang sine z? So, sine z is equal to opposite x over hypotenuse. So, this is x over square root of 4 plus x squared plus z. So, magiging square root of 4 plus x squared. Negative pala, I forgot the negative. Negative over 4x plus c. So, this is our